Welcome back to the Fuel Show. Still to come, we're going to be in the pits, but now it's time for our second behind the wheel. We're taking a look at Subaru's WRX STI. Now, this is based on the Impreza, which has been around for 14 years. And when you get to the WRX STI, it's a little bit more serious, with turbocharged and the 2007 going from 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds and also giving you the quarter mile in 14 seconds. Well, there's just a few of the stats. These guys have many more. Let's see how Dennis and Ian rated the 2007 Subaru WRX STI.
First up is Q Factor for the WRX STI, and for this year, 2007, they've added an upgraded audio system with MP3 and WMA capabilities, which I think is a good bonus for the car.
Well, yeah, especially since the first WRX STI that we drove didn't have a radio in it at all. It was the blank. I mean, it was radio delete right out of the 60s muscle car era. Now, listen, they did upgrade the torsion limited slip in the back, and they have added the limited model, which has leather and a few other things. Not the model we tested. We just tested the standard car. But overall for Q Factor, if you take away some of the mechanics and you look at it from the inside level, it's kind of sparse and kind of basic, but it's supposed to be that way. It's, in sense, a rally car in street car trim.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the allure of this car, is the Q Factor is in the tech stuff and not on the interior gadgets. So for overall Q Factor, we'll have to give it a 3.75. Curb Appeal's up next for the WRX STI, the 2007 from Subaru, and this car's good looking.
Well, it is good looking. For me, a little too boy racer. I think the extra gigantic picnic bench wing on the back is more than anybody needs. And then they added the little extra one. Yeah, they were wanting to be like the Mitsu Evo. I know that's there for a reason, because everybody liked the one that was on the Evo. But if you're looking for this type of vehicle, and the buyers are, it has all that race car appeal. I think the white one we drove was a little more subtle than, say, the bright blue. But I don't know if you'd want to call it sexy.
It is sexy, I think. I mean, it's exactly what their demographic is looking for. It's a rally car in plain clothes. It's got the great new front end on it. It's got the big air dam on the back. And then it's got the brake cooler vents on the side of the front. That's new for this year's model.
I think you'd have to do more convincing for me.
Well, you're not a boy racer, and I think for the boy racer, it's a 4 on Curb Appeal. Now the category that the WRX STI is built around, it's performance, and this car's smoking.
Absolutely. 2.5 liter flat four turbocharged Terror, 293 horsepower.
What? I thought it was 300.
Give me a second on that. 290 pounds-feet of torque, and of course the CCD, the driver-controlled center differential. Now, yeah, I know, I talked over your head there. Hey, listen, I don't know why, but Subaru for some reason decided to change the theory of that and had 300 horsepower and changed the rating to 293. I don't know why.
Trying to be honest, maybe?
Well, maybe an insurance thing. I don't know. Hey, listen,
It
feels like 300. Hell, it feels like a lot more than 300. You take the driver-controlled center differential. It's an ability for you to shovel the power all the way to the front or all the way to the back, depending on the driving conditions. What it can do is, in a sense, give you tremendous understeer or tremendous oversteer based on either what you want or what you want the car to do. I think it's one of the most advanced systems that you can get in a car today. It really does give it almost a tunability, and it's something that is a high dollar option in something that is a car that's under 35 grand that should be on a car that's about 100.
Yeah, the other thing that I like is that it only comes in a 6-speed manual. I think that's a cool feature, especially in a car like this that's built around performance. We give it 4.25 on performance. Fit and finish is the next category for the WRX STI, and if you're in the market for a luxury sedan, this isn't it. But if you're in the market for a performance sedan, it is.
And that's pretty much all you need to say. Now, I'll touch on a few things that I like and dislike about this car. Aluminum pedals, great grippy seat material, a lot of the little things like that really do bring the whole idea of being a rally car together. Now you got the other side. It's the frameless windows that feel kind of flippy floppy. I don't even know what other words to use.
You said grippy and flippy floppy in the same segment. I like that.
Well, it works for me. Hey, listen, I think that the person who's going to buy this car will look way past any of the things that we can knock it for. But when you judge it up against other cars, you have to be realistic. Yeah. Other cars in this marketplace, other cars in this price point are going to have a little bit more polish to them. The person who buys a WRX STI, well, they don't care.
Yeah, I think that is the feature, and that's why it's so hard to rate this category, because the person that's going to buy this car is expecting that, kind of like that raw muscle car like you were talking about earlier. And this delivers that exactly. It's not luxurious, it's a race car, so we give it 3.5 on fit and finish. Our final category is drivability for the WRX STI, and you go 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds and the quarter mile in 14 seconds. That's drivable or raceable? I can't decide which.
It's kind of both, and I think that's what comes up in this category that's so tough to actually score it. You have, on one hand, performance, on the other, all the great looks that are aggressive for that type of buyer, but we ran into a difference of opinion of what it's really good for. We found this with the Porsche Cayman S, with the Z4M Coupe, where it was these really exceptional sports cars that could do so much on the open road and even more on a racetrack, or in this car's case, even in a
gravel highway somewhere out in the mountains here.
Fire roads in the middle of the mountain forest. I mean, you could do so much on so many different surfaces. But on a day-to-day basis, do I want to get stuck in this car and race, rush hour traffic in the middle of 5 o'clock turmoil? I don't want to be there.
Do you want to run to 7-Eleven to get a big gulp, and have to fight the clutch on this thing all the time and feel like you're holding it back all the time?
It depends on whether I want to get there really quick. Hey, listen, the car is a race car with interior and a license plate frame. It can do everything you want it to do if you're looking for performance. But overall, it's tough to score this car high because of the things that it lacks.
Yeah, I think for the average consumer, it would be low on drivability. But for the person that's buying this car, 3.75 on drivability.
Let's see how Dennis and Ian score the 2007 Subaru WRX STI. For Q-Factor, the gadget or tech score, it got a 3.75. In curb appeal, the way the vehicle looks at the curbside, it got a 4.0. In performance, for what was under the hood, it got a 4.25. Fit and finish, a 3.5, and finally the overall usefulness of a vehicle, 3.75. The total score for the 2007 WRX STI was 19.25 out of a possible 25. When fuel returns, we're going to be in the pits.